you very much, Ranjan, and good morning to all of you. Fortunately, it's still morning, so bear with us. I just wanted to share some initial thoughts, and of course, you have a panel of very eminent people who will talk about the whole issue of skills. And the initial thoughts really is, where have we reached at this point of time in our whole skills evolution? And from my own point of view, having been part of education and skills for almost the last 30 years, NIIT, AppTech, working with an entity today called Global Talent Track, and also I'm currently the chairman of NASSCOM Foundation. And our whole interest has always been, like I'm sure all of you, that at what stage should we look at skills as a serious prospect for job creation in this country? How does it coexist, collaborate, interact with education? And what should we do about it? I mean, which is obviously why you're all here for the couple of days. I start off on one premise, which I was discussing with Ranjan before we started, that we are at some risk of saying that, look, all education should be subsumed to skills. Because my perception is, I mean, having, like most of you, studied engineering in India and then studied here and in the US, that there is a value to education for the sake of education, which really means that if you look at concepts, if you look at the theoretical underpinning of any subject, I think that's an important aspect of what education should provide. And many of you are running schools, so whether it's in schools, junior colleges, I think we should not make everything skills oriented. Having said that, I think there is a clear, and I won't dwell on this, you've heard it in the previous session, the skills imperative is very strong in this country. So the question really is, how do you make a method of the madness? How do you put all these things together? To give you one example of what we're doing in NASSCOM Foundation, we are working with the Prime Minister's National Digital Literacy Mission. And the basic premise of the National Digital Literacy Mission is that one person or one member of every family in the country should be digitally literate, hopefully over the next 10 years. Now that means 220 million people. It's not a short, small number. And we're saying that if we make sure that, and digital literacy does not mean IT literacy, it means the ability to access information for life and work, maybe on your smartphone or any device. And the question we're asking ourselves is, a person at the age of 14 or the person at the age of 55 can be digitally literate. What happens after that? And my theory is, in which I will just very briefly articulate and then get out of your way, is that if a person starts to acquire skills, and that acquisition of skills could happen whether they're in the 9th grade of any of the good schools, it could happen much later in life as part of an adult skills program, and everything else that NSDC and the Ministry of Skills is so eminently doing today. But we need to build those pathways to whatever they want to do. So imagine a situation where a young boy is growing up maybe in Manipur or Mizoram, and at that stage, maybe they want to learn some skills which enables them to participate in any one of the sectors. I mean, it could be in gem and jewelry design, it could be in IT infrastructure management, whatever. So I think, how do we, in the schools and colleges, provide them that skills? And then using NSQF and the qualifications that we have in place, how do we make sure that a person who just wants to use those skills, get a job, maybe can work for 2 years, but always has the pathway towards education? And we are kind of like doing those experiments in the city of Pune where I live, where we are training a whole bunch of young women to become nursing aides and geriatric nursing, which is obviously a very big shortage in this country. But how do you then take them, having been trained in that, and maybe 20% of them want to go on to a bachelor's of nursing. So today, I think the advantage with the BWalks and the other courses that have been designed is, there is an interplay possible between skills and education. And my last point is that if we really are able to make this happen, if we are really able to make the hundreds of millions of people skilled in the sectors that they choose to get trained in, and if we can build these pathways to education, we will not only create a country which has all the skills required to get a livelihood, which is so important for us today, but more important, I think we will be able to ensure that we have an educated, literate, and skilled country. So I hope that in this panel, and of course as you go on through this conference, we will start thinking about these, because to my mind, in everything I do today, that's the opportunity. How do you ensure that no Indian is left behind? How do we ensure that we provide the same quality, the same application, and the same pathways to skills as we do in pretty much everything else in this country? So thank you very much.